So Sinn Féin support the objectives of cutting emissions, of course we do, but it's clear the government's approach is not working and new ideas and climate action policies are needed. I just feel the current proposals are inequitable. Much of the government's climate action plan puts a burden on ordinary workers and families, and particularly on family farmers and rural communities as well. Those living in rural Ireland find it difficult to, if not impossible, to access services, be it employment, education, retail, whatever, without using a private car. So a large proportion of our greenhouse gas emissions can be attributed to the transport sector. And if we're to meet our overall emissions reduction target by 2030, we have to seriously increase investment in our public transport service to reduce this dependence on private cars and accelerate the rollout of rural bus services. And we need to cut fares and make bus and train stations wheelchair accessible for disabled people as well. There also has to be, to ensure there's sufficient capacity on existing services. We need to see a public service that's reliable and affordable and safe, but with sufficient capacity. And I particularly want to mention the route from Cavan to Dublin, the 109X. That bus is regularly, nearly every day, oversubscribed going home, and people are left waiting at the side of the road for hours on eventually a bus coming to bring them home. Also, we are here all the time, we encourage people to buy electric cars. But again, it's too expensive for those that most need to do this. Those that have the oldest, dirtiest cars, who most need to replace the cars, cannot afford to do so. And we need to consider looking at grants for second-hand electric cars to be rolled out. Also, the grants to retrofit houses are generous, but again, only if you have money in the first place. So more investment in the Warmer Homes Scheme and also in local authorities who are informing me they do not get sufficient funds to retrofit their own supply of houses, not nearly enough funds to do that. And again, some of them are quite old houses and most need retrofitting. In relation to forestry, afforestation can play an important role in meeting our emissions targets. However, the government's not doing enough to foster this sector. The programme for government set the target of planting 8,000 hectares. I think only a quarter of that target was reached last year or the year before. And there are ongoing problems with the licences. So farmers and private forestry companies have been deprived of licences to plant trees for some years now. And I think the government need to look at those issues and deal with them, and also support farmers with ash dieback, instead of looking to invest or allow a British company come in here and practically give them land and invest in our country. Farmers should be given the first option, and the forestry companies here to invest in those. Thank you.